they never told us what really happens to your hormones after 40. You've probably heard things like, it's just aging, your metabolism slows down, or that's just how life goes. But none of that explains why one day you wake up and suddenly you feel like you're living in someone else's body. You're eating the same foods, sleeping the same hours, yet your energy crashes in the afternoon, your sleep gets lighter, and your belly fat, it just won't move no matter what you do. Sound familiar? It's not your imagination. It's not lack of willpower. It's a biochemical shift, a silent reprogramming happening inside every cell of your body. See, after 40, your hormones stop following the same rhythm they've had your whole life. Estrogen, testosterone, cortisol, insulin, thyroid hormones, they all begin to communicate differently. It's like your internal orchestra starts playing the same song, but in a different key. And if even one of those instruments is off, you'll feel it in your mood, your sleep, your metabolism, your focus. For women, this shift often starts with estrogen and progesterone imbalances. The hormones that once worked in perfect balance start sending mixed signals to your brain, your skin, and even your fat cells. For men, it's a gradual but powerful drop in testosterone, the hormone that drives muscle tone, motivation, and mental clarity. And behind all of it, your master controller, the hypothalamus, constantly trying to adjust, to rebalance a system that's being pulled in every direction. Here's the part no one tells you. You can't stop this hormonal shift, but you can master it. Because your hormones aren't the problem. They're the messengers, trying to warn you that your body's priorities have changed. What used to be about growth and reproduction is now about protection, repair, and longevity. And when you learn how to work with your hormones instead of against them, when you give your body the nutrients, sleep, and habits that align with this new phase, something incredible happens. You stop fighting the symptoms and start thriving in the second half of your life. In today's video, we're going to uncover the hidden chain reaction that begins after 40, how stress hormones steal your sleep, how insulin resistance sneaks up even if you eat healthy, and why the foods and habits that worked in your 20s may be sabotaging you right now. By the end, you'll not only understand what is happening, you'll know how to reset your hormonal blueprint so you can feel younger, think sharper, and move with more energy than you thought possible. So if you're over 40 or approaching it, don't go anywhere, because what you'll discover today could completely change the way you see your body, your health, and even your future.
The silent shift. What really happens inside your body after 40. Most people think turning 40 is just about wrinkles, gray hair, and slower metabolism. But what's really happening inside your body is far more complex, and it begins years before you even notice it. Your endocrine system, the network of glands that controls everything from your sleep to your mood, starts to reprogram itself. Not because it's breaking down, but because your body is changing priorities. In your 20s and 30s, your hormones were focused on growth, reproduction, and performance. Your body was wired for survival in the short term, build, reproduce, compete, and adapt. But as you cross 40, your body starts to shift into preservation mode. Now the focus becomes protection, repair, and longevity. And here's the part no one tells you. This shift doesn't happen overnight. It starts silently, deep in the communication between your brain, your adrenals, your thyroid, and your sex glands. It's like the control room of your body starts speaking a new language, and unless you learn to listen, you'll only feel the confusion, fatigue, anxiety, stubborn weight gain, and poor sleep. Let's break it down. The brain-hormone connection. At the top of this hierarchy is the hypothalamus, the command center of your hormonal system. It monitors every signal in your body, your stress, your temperature, your blood sugar, your sleep patterns. When you're under chronic stress, emotional, physical, or even nutritional, the hypothalamus starts sending out emergency signals to the adrenal glands. Those signals release cortisol, the stress hormone. At first, cortisol helps you. It gives you energy, focus, and alertness. But after years of stress, high caffeine, poor sleep, and sugar spikes, cortisol becomes a silent saboteur. It starts blocking thyroid function, reducing testosterone, and making insulin less effective. And suddenly you feel off, tired but wired, hungry but not satisfied, sleepy but unable to rest. The domino effect. Once cortisol takes over, it throws off the balance of everything else. Estrogen and progesterone fall out of sync. Thyroid hormones slow down. Insulin rises quietly, storing fat, especially around the belly, even if your diet hasn't changed. It's not your willpower that's failing, it's your hormones trying to protect you from a system overload. Women often describe this phase as feeling inflamed or puffy. That's not just water retention, it's a sign that your liver and adrenals are struggling to keep up. For men, it shows up as loss of drive, brain fog, and an unexplainable dip in motivation, a result of cortisol stealing the raw materials the body needs to produce testosterone. The recalibration phase. Your body is trying to find a new normal, but this recalibration takes time, sometimes years, and during that process, the feedback loops get noisy. Signals that used to be clear, like hunger, energy, and sleep, start to blur. You might feel hungry when you're actually tired, or wired when your body is desperate for rest. And here's the fascinating part. Your microbiome, the bacteria in your gut, also plays a role in this shift. After 40, changes in digestion, bioproduction, and nutrient absorption can affect how your hormones are activated or deactivated. So it's not just your glands, it's your gut, your liver, and even your sleep that determine how you feel hormonally balanced. When people say, "My metabolism crashed after 40," what really happened is this. Their hormones stopped communicating efficiently, and their lifestyle never adapted to the new biochemical reality. The takeaway. The silent shift is not your enemy. It's your body's way of saying, "I need a new operating system." The problem is, most people try to fix midlife symptoms, fatigue, weight gain, irritability, with the same tools they used in their 20s. More caffeine, more workouts, fewer calories. But those strategies only make the hormonal miscommunication worse. Once you understand this silent shift, once you realize that it's not about discipline, but about decoding your biology, you can start working with your body, not against it. And that's where the real transformation begins. In the next chapter, we'll go deeper into which hormones change first and how one small imbalance, like stress or poor sleep, can ripple through your entire system like falling dominoes.
The first domino, the hormones that change first and what they trigger. When most people hit their 40s, the changes they feel, the fatigue, the stubborn belly fat, the restless nights, seem random. But inside your body, there's nothing random happening at all. It's a precise chain reaction, and it starts with just a few key hormones quietly shifting out of rhythm. The first domino to fall is usually cortisol, your main stress hormone. Cortisol is like your body's built-in alarm system, meant to protect you in moments of danger. But today, it's not lions or tigers triggering it. It's your inbox, your bills, your phone notifications, your late-night scrolling, and your lack of rest. Your brain, specifically the hypothalamus, doesn't know the difference between being chased by a predator and being stuck in traffic while running late for work. To your body, stress is stress. So cortisol stays high even when the danger is just the thought in your head. And when cortisol stays elevated for too long, it begins to quietly sabotage your other hormones. It lowers thyroid output, slows your metabolism, and starts stealing the building blocks needed to make your sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. This is why the first sign of hormonal imbalance after 40 often looks like a mix of unrelated issues: tiredness, insomnia, anxiety, bloating, low libido, mood swings. But in truth, It's all connected to one system that's starting to fall out of sync. Cortisol, the stress signal that never turns off. Think of cortisol like a smoke alarm. You need it to alert you when there's danger, but what happens if it keeps ringing all day? Eventually, it drowns out every other sound. That's what chronic stress does to your hormones. When cortisol is always on, it suppresses the signals from your thyroid, so you burn fewer calories and retain more fat, even on the same diet. It raises blood sugar, makes insulin work harder, and trains your body to store energy instead of burning it. And worst of all, cortisol interferes with sleep, which means the one time your body is supposed to heal and balance hormones, it's still stuck in emergency mode. Sleep deprivation then pushes cortisol even higher, and you're trapped in what scientists call the cortisol loop. Tired during the day, wired at night, craving sugar and caffeine just to function. For women, this disrupts the delicate dance between estrogen and progesterone, making cycles irregular, increasing PMS, and intensifying menopause symptoms. For men, cortisol steals from testosterone production because both hormones share the same precursor, cholesterol. Your body has to choose. Do I make testosterone to rebuild and grow, or cortisol to survive another stressful day? And your body will always choose survival. Insulin, the energy controller that turns against you. After cortisol, the next domino to fall is insulin, the hormone that controls how your body uses and stores sugar. When you were younger, insulin worked like a charm. You'd eat, your blood sugar would rise, insulin would come in, and your cells would easily absorb that glucose for energy. But after years of stress, poor sleep, and processed foods, your cells stop responding properly to insulin. It's like the delivery man keeps knocking, but no one's opening the door anymore. The result? Insulin resistance. Your body starts producing more insulin just to get the same job done. That extra insulin then tells your body to store fat, especially around the abdomen. This is why people often say, "I don't even eat that much, but I'm still gaining weight." It's not the calories, it's the message your hormones are sending. Insulin resistance doesn't just cause weight gain, it disrupts your hunger hormones, ghrelin and leptin, so you never feel truly satisfied after meals. Your body thinks you're starving, while you're actually overfed. Estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, the balance breakdown. As cortisol and insulin rise, your sex hormones begin to fluctuate. For women, estrogen becomes unpredictable, sometimes too high, sometimes too low, while progesterone steadily declines. That imbalance leads to mood swings, bloating, hot flashes, and emotional roller coasters. For men, testosterone gradually drops, reducing muscle tone, motivation, and mental sharpness. It's not just aging, it's the result of stress hormones stealing the stage. Estrogen and testosterone are also tightly connected to your liver and gut. If your liver is overloaded, from alcohol, sugar, or toxins, it can't properly metabolize these hormones, so they recirculate in your body, amplifying symptoms like fatigue, acne, and fat gain. The gut, on the other hand, hosts bacteria that help detox used hormones. But after 40, the gut lining weakens, the microbiome shifts, and inflammation increases. So not only are your hormones out of balance, your body's ability to clear them is too. The ripple effect. What starts as a minor imbalance becomes a cascade. Cortisol rises, thyroid slows, insulin spikes, estrogen and testosterone drop, sleep worsens, and cortisol rises again. It's a perfect storm, and it all begins with one tiny signal gone unchecked. This is why treating just one symptom, taking thyroid meds or hormone creams, rarely works long-term. You have to understand the sequence, because hormones are not isolated, they are a symphony. And at 40, the music changes. The takeaway. The first domino, cortisol, doesn't fall because your body is failing. It falls because your body is trying to protect you from overload. But when that alarm never shuts off, the entire system loses rhythm. By the end of this video, you'll know how to reset that rhythm, not by fighting your hormones, but by understanding the pattern they follow and learning how to calm the first domino before it topples the rest. In the next chapter, we'll uncover how your lifestyle choices, like sleep, food, and mindset, either feed the imbalance or rebuild the balance.
Fuel or fire. How your daily habits shape your hormonal destiny. By the time most people hit 40, their hormones aren't broken, they're reacting. Reacting to years of hidden stress, late nights, poor sleep, constant stimulation, and foods that were never designed for human biology. Your habits are either fueling balance or feeding the fire. And the difference between those two is what determines whether you feel energetic and focused or foggy, bloated, and burned out. Let's break down how the simple things you do every day, the way you eat, sleep, and think, either restore your hormones or silently destroy them. Moon, sleep, the forgotten hormone reset button. Most people treat sleep as optional, the thing you do when everything else is done. But for your hormones, sleep is the Control-Alt-Delete of your body. It's when cortisol drops, growth hormone rises, and your entire system recalibrates. Here's what happens when you don't sleep enough. Your cortisol remains high all night. Your insulin spikes the next day. Your leptin, the hormone that tells you you're full, goes down, while ghrelin, the hormone that makes you hungry, goes up. So you wake up craving carbs and caffeine, not because you're weak, but because your hormones are trying to compensate for exhaustion. Even one night of poor sleep can lower testosterone by up to 15% in men and throw estrogen-progesterone balance off in women. Your body interprets sleep deprivation as starvation, and in starvation mode, it clings to fat and sacrifices muscle because it thinks you're under threat. So if you want to fix your hormones, you have to protect your sleep like medicine. Dark room, no screens before bed, a consistent bedtime, and waking up with the sun instead of your phone. You can't out-supplement bad sleep. You can't out-diet it. Sleep is the master switch. Avocado, food, the most powerful hormone messenger. Every bite you take sends a message to your hormones. Sugar says, store fat. Protein says, build and repair. Healthy fats say, balance and calm. After 40, your body becomes far more sensitive to what you eat. Processed carbs spike insulin faster. Seed oils inflame your liver and thyroid. And skipping meals, if done incorrectly, raises cortisol and slows metabolism. But when you eat nutrient-dense, whole foods, rich in magnesium, zinc, omega-3s, and natural fats, your hormones start to listen again. Here's why. Nutrients are like the language your hormones use to communicate. Without enough minerals, your thyroid can't produce energy. Without fat, your body can't make estrogen or testosterone. And without fiber and probiotics, your liver and gut can't clear used hormones. The modern diet, low in nutrients, high in stimulation, doesn't just feed your body, it confuses it. Your blood sugar spikes, insulin rises, cortisol follows, and the dominoes begin to fall. The key is not restriction, it's precision. Eat with purpose. Protein at every meal to stabilize blood sugar. Healthy fats for hormonal building blocks. Cruciferous vegetables to support the liver. Fermented foods to restore gut health. And most importantly, eliminate foods that whisper inflammation. Refined sugar, alcohol, and industrial oils. Because what you eat isn't just fuel, it's information. Yoga, mindset, and stress, the hormonal amplifier. You can eat perfectly and sleep well, but if your mind is constantly in overdrive, your hormones will never find peace. Chronic worry keeps cortisol high even when life is calm. Your body doesn't know the difference between running from a tiger and replaying an argument in your head. The same stress response fires every time. Over time, that mental tension drains your adrenals, depletes magnesium, and suppresses thyroid hormones. You start to feel tired but restless, foggy, but unable to shut off. And here's the truth. It's not about being positive. It's about creating physiological safety. Deep breathing, sunlight exposure, walking after meals, time in nature. These tell your nervous system you're safe now. And when the nervous system relaxes, your hormones finally get permission to heal. People who practice stress-regulating habits, even for 10 minutes a day, see measurable drops in cortisol and improvements in thyroid function. That's not spirituality, that's biology. Run, man. Movement. The reset your body craves. Exercise isn't about burning calories anymore. It's about retraining your hormones. Resistance training boosts testosterone and growth hormone. Gentle walks after meals improve insulin sensitivity. High-intensity workouts release endorphins that balance cortisol. The mistake people make after 40 is overtraining, doing long cardio sessions that spike stress hormones instead of calming them. Your workouts should restore, not exhaust. When you move intelligently, lifting weights 3 times a week, walking daily, stretching to unwind, you reprogram your metabolism at a cellular level. Your mitochondria become more efficient, your insulin receptors more responsive, and your body starts burning fat as fuel again. Movement is not punishment. It's a signal, a way to remind your body that you're alive and capable. Fire, the hormonal destiny. Your daily habits are not small things. They're messages. Each night you stay up late, each skipped meal, each anxious thought, they all speak directly to your hormones. But so do calm mornings, nutrient-rich meals, laughter, and gratitude. Your hormones are listening, always. So ask yourself every day, am I feeding balance or feeding the fire? Because your habits are not just shaping how you feel today, they're sculpting your hormonal destiny for the next decade of your life. In the next chapter, we'll go deeper into how to reverse hormonal chaos using targeted nutrition, strategic fasting, and recovery protocols to bring your body back into alignment.
Reclaiming balance. How to reverse hormonal chaos naturally. Here's the good news. Hormonal chaos isn't permanent. Your body isn't broken. It's trying to talk to you. Every symptom, fatigue, cravings, irritability, brain fog, stubborn fat, is not a punishment. It's communication. Once you learn how to listen to your hormones, you can lead them again. Your body has an extraordinary ability to heal itself, but it needs the right environment. Let's rebuild that environment step by step.
Timing is everything. The science of fasting and nutrient synchrony. By the time you reach 40, your body has already rewritten its internal clock dozens of times. But most people still eat as if they were in their 20s, snacking all day, late-night meals, breakfast on the run. The problem is, your metabolism after 40 doesn't run on chaos anymore. It runs on rhythm. And the way you time your meals can either restore hormonal harmony or destroy it. Let's dive into the fascinating science of how fasting, meal timing, and nutrient synchronization can help you reset your entire endocrine system naturally. Sunrise. 1. The hormonal clock, why when you eat matters more than you think. Your body is not a machine, it's a rhythm. Every hormone you produce has a time window. Cortisol peaks in the morning to wake you up. Insulin is most efficient around midday. Melatonin rises at night to prepare for sleep. But when you eat at random times, skipping breakfast, grazing all day, eating at midnight, you're sending mixed signals to that delicate hormonal orchestra. Your body starts to ask, are we feeding? Are we fasting? Are we hunting or sleeping? And when the signals clash, your metabolism slows, insulin resistance increases, and fat storage becomes the default mode, especially in the belly area. To realign, you must eat in rhythm with your hormones, not against them. Sunset. 2. Morning, cortisol, energy, and controlled feeding. In the morning, your cortisol naturally rises. It's your built-in coffee. Eating a heavy, sugary breakfast at this point spikes insulin and suppresses fat burning. Instead, aim for a protein-rich, low-carb breakfast, or even delay your first meal until your natural hunger appears. This gentle fasting window, 14 to 16 hours for most people, allows insulin to drop, growth hormone to rise, and your body to start repairing itself. During this phase, your mitochondria, the powerhouses of your cells, shift from storage mode to fuel-burning mode. That's why so many people report feeling sharper, lighter, and calmer when they start intermittent fasting. But remember, fasting isn't starvation. It's a strategic pause that allows your body to detox and recalibrate. Suncloud. 3. Midday. Feeding the fire, the optimal window for nutrition. Around midday, your body's metabolism is at its strongest. Your insulin sensitivity peaks, your digestive fire is high, and your stress hormones are at their lowest. This is the best time to have your main meal, full of color, texture, and nutrients. Include vegetables for fiber and antioxidants, protein for muscle preservation, healthy fats for hormonal building blocks, slow carbs for steady energy. Eating your largest meal at this time aligns with your circadian rhythm. It supports thyroid hormones, improves sleep quality, and helps balance cortisol by evening. Your ancestors did this instinctually, eating when the sun was high, resting when it set. Science is just rediscovering what nature already knew. Moon. 4. Evening, the art of winding down. Here's one of the most important and most ignored rules of hormonal balance. Stop eating at least 3 hours before bed. When you eat late, insulin stays elevated through the night, blocking melatonin, lowering growth hormone, and keeping your body in storage mode instead of repair. That's why people who eat dinner late often wake up groggy, puffy, and hungry again. Your last meal should be light, anti-inflammatory, and grounding. A piece of fish, your eggs with steamed vegetables and olive oil, for example. And then, stop. Let your hormones breathe. When you go to bed with low insulin and balanced cortisol, your body finally enters the deep healing phase, where fat burning, tissue repair, and hormonal resetting take place. Repeat. 5. The power of intermittent fasting, resetting the hormonal switches. Intermittent fasting isn't just about skipping meals, it's about retraining your hormonal intelligence. When done correctly, it increases insulin sensitivity, lowers inflammation, boosts growth hormone and testosterone, regulates estrogen and progesterone levels, improves brain clarity and sleep quality. But here's the key. Fasting must be personalized. If you're under heavy stress, fasting too long can raise cortisol. If you're insulin resistant, you may need longer fasting windows to reset. If you're a woman, your fasting rhythm should adapt to your cycle, eating slightly more during the luteal phase to support progesterone production. The goal isn't discipline, it's communication, learning to listen to what your body is asking for each day. Because when your body feels safe, it stops storing and starts healing. Synchrony. 6. Eating with purpose, not impulse. When your meals follow your hormonal rhythm, your energy, mood, and focus begin to stabilize. You're no longer driven by cravings or clock hunger. You eat because your body is ready, not because the clock says so. That's the real meaning of nutrient synchrony, aligning your food choices, your timing, and your biology. Once you master that rhythm, you won't need diets. You'll simply be in harmony with your body's design.
If there's one thing you take from this video, let it be this. Your hormones after 40 are not your enemy, they're your evolution. Your body isn't slowing down, it's transforming. The fatigue, the cravings, the mood swings, they're not random. They're your body's way of saying, work with me, not against me. And when you do, when you align your meals, your sleep, your stress, and your mindset, you stop fighting biology and start flowing with it. That's when everything changes. Your energy returns. Your focus sharpens. Your confidence rebuilds. You feel like yourself again, only stronger, wiser, and more in tune than ever before. So if this message resonated with you, if you felt even one aha moment, hit that like button to let me know. Comment, share this video with someone who needs to hear this today. A friend, a sister, a husband, someone who's feeling lost in their 40s and needs hope. And don't forget to subscribe because we're just getting started. Each week, we'll dive deeper into how to reprogram your body naturally, one insight, one habit, one change at a time. Remember, you're not getting older, you're entering your second hormonal awakening, and the best is yet to come.